vicious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
This is the review of Tuesday night's 1-0 defeat at home to Forest, and then I'll look ahead to a winnable game, to be honest, against Reading on Saturday. We have everybody with us again, so Mick and Ben are with us, which is a pleasure.
Hello.
Hello.
Tuesday night was a tough game. We are going to have to talk through it. We are going to be negative about it because there wasn't much to be positive about. We will try and find some positives from it. But this is all done in a positive way. This is not sort of, our club's crap, they're all crap, sack them all. Try to be constructive about it, as I hope everybody else would have been on social media over the past few days. One bad performance in a while, and we're already seeing some meltdowns on social media, which is really, really disappointing. Let's just everybody calm down and chill out. It's probably going to be fine, and if it's not fine and we get relegated, do you know what? It'll be fine. It won't be the end of the world, but let's try and remain friends, shall we? Ben, start with you, mate. Overall, it was a flat, poor performance on Tuesday. We'll talk about the chances, and there were a lot of incidents that we'll cover, which we will cover. But just in the overall performance, Ben, it was really disappointing. It's weird.
It is odd. It's hard to tell when you're not playing whether we played poor or they just outsmarted us. It's hard to play unless you see game plan being shown to both teams. But I don't know. There was glimpses of a little bit. So my guess would be that they just outplayed us and they just probably outsmarted us. Not saying we were perfect. We probably had the chance to win to at least get something from the game anyway. Obviously hit the bar. So, yeah, I think there's definitely negatives because we lost. But it was 1-0, it wasn't 6-0, So, I think there's always positives to take from it. So, I'm happy we you know what I mean, look at the club. There's nothing really to be negative about it. It's one loss, it's football, get over yourself. You know what I mean? One of them,
when we last time we played this badly, you're going back to the Watford and Coventry game, which were October, November time. We've not played that badly since then. And this probably wasn't as bad as then.
The thing is, I'm looking at a game, we've just lost 1-0, right? And I'm still positive about the club. I haven't, you know what I mean? I've not been around a long time, but I know about the history of the points deductions and stuff like this in the history. The actual things that matter. Because results they matter, but not really.
Having a club is more important.
Having a club, having a manager that's a manager, not a, I don't even know, Warnock. He was a good manager, but he's not a manager. He's a short-term coach. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm very excited for years ahead, to be honest, in my opinion.
Right, positivity, Ben. Same question to you, Mick. The performance was off. Why do you think it was off? Do you think it was tiredness, or do you think like Ben mentions, Forest did a bit of a number on us? What do you reckon?
I certainly don't think that Forest did a number on us now. I mean, I've said this a couple of times to a few people. That game to me was like two punch-drunk boxers who were absolutely knackered and couldn't be bothered to do anything really. I think had we still been playing now, it would or should have still been 0-0. You know what I mean? For me, we've lost that game, and let me nail my colours to the mast right now. The officials cost us that game. End of, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, one of the officials, to be fair.
Well, the linesman, the linesman. Yeah. The goal was offside twice, count them, twice, before it went in the back of the net. The second time, when you look at the still on Sky that they show you that he's offside, the linesman's nowhere near up with play. How he can't be up with play is beyond me because it was a free kick. So he's only got one job. I was disgusted with that, I'll be honest with you. And having looked through some of the social media posts from Forest fans, they can't believe it either. They're just as gobsmacked as we are. We lost that game because of that.
Possibly.
Well, we're going to talk about the misses and everything else, and I accept that completely. Right? Those misses we should be talking about in the context of us losing out on 3 points, not losing the game, because that goal should not have stood. It shouldn't have stood. It shouldn't have ever even got to it, been allowed to get to that second ball, because it was offside from the moment the ball was kicked. You know, where the rule says at the point that the ball is kicked, that point it went offside. I'm absolutely still, after 2 days, and I know I shouldn't be, but we can talk about the mistakes and everything else, but there's so many variables involved in Smithy's header, in Freddie's misses, in all the other issues here. There's one variable for that linesman to deal with, just one. And he's doing it from a standing start. It's not as though he's running down the line trying to keep up with play, or a smart ball through a crowd of 4 players. It's got nothing else to do apart from look along the line and wait for the ball to be kicked. End of. Nothing else to do. And at the point that ball's kicked, there's 4 players offside. 4.
Do you know what it were like? It were like Solihull.
Inexcusable. It's exactly like
Solihull. Except
on this occasion, there were less players offside. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, but that is inexcusable. It's utter incompetence, and that's all it is. And yeah, Freddie misses it. There's a fresh air shot in front of goal. Yeah, Smithy hits the bar when he should be hitting the back of the net. But that's not incompetence. That is not incompetence. That is, he's only got one job. I'm absolutely, honestly, I went on the Reading podcast last night to preview this game, and he asked me how I felt personally about the championship and everything else. And I said to him, and I still feel this now, I hate the championship. I hate the championship with an absolute passion, with more of a passion than I love my club. I really do. I hate it because it's full of cheating footballers who are not good enough to cheat in Premier League. So they come down here and they throw themselves about all over the place. And I know that we were just as bad on Tuesday night at doing that, and it's still not acceptable. It's full of referees who are nowhere near good enough for Premier League and nowhere near good enough for League One either, let's be fair. It's just an absolute shambles for me. It really is. Anyway, I'll calm down now, but...
You've been waiting 2 days for that, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I have been waiting for a while to have a bit of a rant about it, but these things are, I felt if we were asking, well, I don't know. I can't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand.
How much blame do you give Knockaert punched Harding just for half time, which was obviously a blatant red card, but the referee, in my opinion, the referee should never have been looking at that situation because there was never a situation to start with. So I can see why the referee didn't give that.
I can't see why the linesman didn't. He was staring straight at it though.
Was it though? He's going to get the make sure the person who's taking the throw is taking it from the right place, everything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it took advantage of obliged. I don't know if there's any retrospective action on that. If there isn't, then that's a bit of a disgrace.
What do you expect from Knockaert? I'm going to refer you back to my comment about why I dislike the Championship. He's a perfect example. He's a cheat. He's a nasty piece of work. He's a really good footballer, but he's not good enough for Premier League. So he comes down here and just throws himself about, tries to throw his weight about, throws his teddy out at the earliest opportunity. It's just pathetic, man, honestly. It's pathetic.
Okay.
Evening.
On the performance, though, Mick, the Miller's performance, it was below standard. It was below par, weren't it?
Tired. It's just tired, isn't it? For me, you can make all the... You can say whatever you want. We've had to travel all the way down to Bournemouth and stay in a luxury 4-star hotel, as Sky pointed out. But we've had to travel all the way back on the Wednesday, so we're not back until Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. We've then got a game on the Saturday, which is a 400-mile round trip at Norwich, and against, and then obviously a 4-hour trip, whatever it is, on the way back. So we're not back until Sunday night. We're not going to be in a position to start training again on the Monday. We're playing again on the Tuesday. Couple that with the fact that we're playing Bournemouth and Norwich City, who are 2 top sides, and they've had to work really, really hard to get into the position we did against those teams, despite losing. So we've got sort of 2 quick turnarounds. We look tired, but so did Forest, to be fair.
Yeah, they did. I agree.
Well, they're pretty ineffective, to be truthful with you.
I think they did a job though. They stopped. All we had on Tuesday was the long ball, and they basically took Smithy out of the game for the most part. I know he had his moments, but they just screened the whole plan. And the worry is, Ben, that all we did was go long. There were no idea to try and play the ball through the middle. It was so direct, and it just played into Forest defenders' hands.
Yeah. Well, on what Mick said, I disagree with everything, but I'm not going to go into that.
Just briefly bullet point it, Ben. Very briefly bullet point which points you disagree with.
All of them. It's all excuses. Do your job, and we don't lose. But yeah, I think same with and not the referees, the players. With the long round trip, I think it's excuses. I would understand. No. This is why, right? These players aren't in the Premier League because this is okay. You look at dedicated players. Players who make no excuses, held themselves to a high standard. James Milner is a perfect example, right? Mick, you've got more natural ability than James Milner, but he's up every single day, dedicated, not making excuses, and that's why he's at the Premier League. Jordan Henderson's another one. He was crap 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Whenever Sterling were there, he was crap. Awful. Look at him now. I just think it's excuses, in my opinion.
The difference is nobody in the Premier League, not one of them, will have played on a Wednesday night and then played on a Saturday. Not one of them. The Premier League do not allow you to play Wednesday night and then play Saturday. It's not allowed.
It's not the point I'm making. It's the mentality. It's the mentality.
It's not the mentality because what Warney said, I think, in Athletic, that after Bournemouth, Rotherham left Bournemouth at 10:30. It was a later kickoff than normal. So let's say we left Rotherham at 10:30. How far is the Bournemouth journey? 5-6 hours?
And some on a coach.
Yeah, so what Warney's saying is the players aren't getting back and going to bed until 5 o'clock on Thursday morning, which means Thursday's a write-off. You can't play. You can't do anything on Thursday. You can't train. You think Rotherham United can afford a plane?
Why not?
It'd have to be a private plane because you can't get a commercial jet at minute because I don't think they're working. So it would have to be a coach. We can't afford that. There's no way. We're talking about costs.
Maybe it's just me. But I think it's just excuses. But that's just my view. I think you've got to do everything you can. You've got to hold yourself to a high standard, or if you're not doing the best for your team. I think if your natural ability is to play football, it's a disgrace if you're not doing the best to maximise that, because that's your gift, and that's, you know what I mean? I think it's just excuses, in my opinion. You've got to hold yourself to a high standard. They're not in this to just sit and play casual train 2 hours a day for 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and play a game. But it's excuses. If you go to bed at 5 in the morning, it's irrelevant. You're up at 9 training. Don't matter if you're tired. You can sleep another day. Like,
which day should they have slept?
End of the season. They've got the time. Don't rest at the end, not in the middle. Rest in the end, not at the middle.
Ben, come on, mate.
No, I'm not.
They've got a sleep expert. They've got a sleep expert who's in charge of telling you.
Expert. What over this, man? It's all what your body feels, bro. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's not what your body feels.
That's me.
It's not what your body feels. They've got football down to a science. And you've got these sleep experts, people need to sleep at certain times. For example, your sleep clock is different to my sleep clock.
Yeah.
You might need full 8 hours. I might only need 5 hours to be able to function.
Kobe Bryant used to have 2 hours a day, 2 hours sleep a day, and then go out and perform. Kobe Bryant, and he was top at level. Sleep expert, man. It's all about mentality for me. You can push through being sleepy.
There's ways with the way we play, you can't.
If you recover properly, there is. There's a difference between tired and fatigue. If you recover properly, you're not fatigued, and sleep is important, but you can play through it and recover after. There's time to sleep at the end of the season. You get a month off, whatever it is. There's time to relax then. You should know it when you sign up. Everyone knew what the season was going to be like. Everybody knew. I knew what everyone was going to be like.
Easy.
I know it don't make it easy. But if you don't like it not being easy, go and play another sport, pal. Don't play professional sports. We have to perform, people. If we weren't paying, I thought we're paying our hard-earned money. Well, I'm not because I don't work, but hard-earned money, right? Hard-earned money to watch them perform, right? Perform, not play. Perform. It's their job, and it's their job. It's their job. Their existence on this planet at the minute is to perform for us. No other reason. So if that don't motivate you, then nothing will, and you're in the wrong sport. I think, but that's my view. I've got a very.
But they weren't not motivated. They were.
I know. It's just, yeah. This is mad. I've got very different views to people.
Some of these have been playing every 3 or 4 days since January. How can you recover better?
If you're training 6 hours a day, you need to be recovering 6 hours a day. That's the fact. Sleep or not.
There's no time between finishing at 10:30 on Wednesday night. This was obviously the big example. To playing 3 o'clock on Saturday, you can't realistically rest on Thursday because going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, even if you get up at 9 o'clock, your body's not had time to recover. You've got to bear in mind they've also been sat on a coach for 6 or 7 hours or whatever it might be. You're not recovering while you're sat on a coach. That's not recovery time. So Thursday's a complete write-off. You may be able to come in for an hour to get a massage, basically, a sports massage or that type of thing, which means the only day that they can come in and do any type of work would be Friday. But you're not going to come in and do work on a Friday because, we went to Norwich. They would have travelled up on Friday night in Norwich. So we travelled back on Thursday from Bournemouth to travel up on Friday. When would they react? There's no time. The thing is with this club, there is absolutely no stone left unturned. Paul Warne and his team have got the best thing we can with our budget that we possibly could. The sleep experts are vitally important. I think Ross Burberry, is the head of performance. They do a fantastic job of getting these people actually available. What you've got to bear in mind is a lot of these players are League One players playing in the Championship.
They're in the Championship because they don't hold themselves to a high enough standard.
No, just because some of them just aren't good enough. People in League Two aren't as good as the people in the Championship. Some of these players are not good enough at this level and are playing above their station. They're trying very, very best.
I just hear excuses, but that's my opinion.
Is it not okay to lose to the better team?
Yeah, it is. But when you make an excuse, I didn't have time. I think the worst excuse I've ever heard in my life is I don't have time. Make time. Sleep another day. Rest another day. Make time. Some things are more important. If your body breaks down, you come off.
But that's what they need to avoid. Because what happened to Jamie Lindsay? Now we've lost Jamie Lindsay for 8 weeks. You can't just play. But they have trained right.
They clearly haven't. If he's done his hamstring, he clearly haven't.
Paul Warne. Do you think that Paul Warne's going to endanger his players?
I know he's not in danger, but they're clearly not training right because Chio done his meniscus right, which is schoolboy error, schoolboy training right. Hamstring, he's clearly not training his hamstring properly. This is ankle. Wow, that's a doddle to train. I just trained my ankle. Mick can tell you, 30 minutes it took. Come on, man. This is.
Who did their ankle?
Sadly,
he broke it.
He broke it because it's not strong enough. They need to train properly. I don't mean going weight and getting it this one with 100 kg squatting and that does nothing. They need to train. No, I swear down. Yeah, because it weren't strong enough.
No.
Yeah. Well, why then? Why? Because it was too strong.
He twisted it.
Yeah, it broke. It wasn't strong enough to hold that position. That's how ankles break. That's how ACLs tear. That's how hamstrings strain.
There's no way. We're going to put a line under this. There is absolutely no way that the Paul Warne and his team are not doing everything that they possibly can to get every single one of them players to a fit stand. And I think that there's not a single one of those players that is not putting 110% in to training, to rest periods, to the game itself. To question the players this season, I think, is beyond harsh because these 95% of them have put absolutely everything into almost every game.
The facts speak for themselves. Meniscus, ankle, hamstring, these are schoolboy errors. When you know the science behind it, I'll sit and it's not the time, but I'm very knowledgeable about the subject. There is ways of training it, exercises you can do that I do that I ain't seen a gym in 2 months, and my legs are stronger than ever. Like training knees and ankles. There's ways to avoid it. Obviously, it is a very unused way of training because it's very unorthodox. But the facts speak for themselves. But
it's also time consuming. They've got to get set pieces ready. They've got to get all these other things ready. You can't. There are literally enough hours in the day, especially in this season. On the tiredness and Mick, how surprised were you there was no change or minimal changes to the Norwich game, particularly in the midfield?
Yeah, I think Warney's already said this, hasn't he, in his post-match and subsequent, that he wished he'd made more changes. I was surprised. I think he was hoping that we were going to get something out of the game, just push them that little bit extra. The game was there for the taking, and possibly had they not been awarded that goal, then we might have sneaked it, to be honest with you, because we wouldn't have been under that same amount of pressure. And the changes that he made when he made them, which for me were probably too late in the game, certainly created us a lot more opportunities. So yeah, I think he'll regret that. Well, we know that he regrets that because he's already said that. He's already said so. Maybe he should have made the changes from the start. I suspect. Well, I don't suspect. I'm 99% certain there will be a lot more changes for Saturday. So yeah, I think he should have done it a bit earlier.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I was surprised when that Sean McDonald that didn't get started. I think he's waited long enough, and I think it would have been a good time to rest somebody like Wiles or Barlaser.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it was just a mistake. Obviously, he's new to his managing career, and he's only been 4 years. That's young for a manager. See these managers, they're like 50, 60, aren't they? So
yeah,
I think it was just probably an error. He'll have learned from it. Obviously, like he said, I don't know what he said. It sounds like he's learned from it. Yeah, I think he should have, given the circumstances. But like I said, it's a mistake. You know, he's only 4 years in. It's not a long time. So
yeah, and it's only his third technically, but his second proper year at the Championship. Yeah. But Ben, having said all this negative stuff about the way we played, we were unlucky not to get anything out of the game. We didn't play very well, and we were very unlucky. Even if you just forget our chances, taking the fact that their goal should have counted, we were very unlucky not to come out of the game with a point and played rubbish, which is a sort of a good sign.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak about any of them because I'm going to go on a bit of off on a tangent. But yeah, it was a good performance.
I'll talk to you about the Smith chance. I'll wait to Nick about the Freddie one.
Don't speak to me about the goal or their goal either.
No, I won't. The Smithy chance where it hit the bar, it was incredibly unlucky, and I think, to be fair, Smithy's done fantastically well.
I thought it was Robertson.
No, it was Smith.
Oh,
he was the one that was winning that ball. He had to literally fight for the ball, and was so unlucky not to get that header, get it in.
Yeah. The thing is, though, 2 years ago, it was flying over the bar.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? So I think he's done well to get it down. It's so hard because it's when you haven't headed the ball, you don't know really the trajectory and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it looked like it was bouncing up, and it's obviously everyone headed the ball. It's hard to accurate a ball no matter what, no matter when it's bouncing up. So yeah, he did well. Shame not to score. He probably deserved to score with the season he's had. I thought it were gonna, to be honest. But it is what it is, isn't it? It's one of them. It's a Rotherham chance, isn't it? It's just it.
Yeah. Make on to Freddie's chance. Freddie's got an incredible amount of stick on social media. It come down where I think we either responded or retweeted some guy who put a picture of Freddie with a cross across it saying "Get out of my club" or something like that, which I can't use the words I'm going to use because we're trying to swear on this show. I'll ask you about the chance itself first before I come on to people talking about it. But it looked like a striker out of form. It looked like a striker who hadn't been on the pitch because it was just a panicky swing at ball, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was. That's exactly what it was. My initial thought when I saw it from the reverse angle was that when he brought his foot through, he caught the defender's shin. I don't think he did, but I don't know. It was you couldn't really tell, but yeah, he should have buried it. Absolutely, 100% should have buried it. So yeah, and there was a close up of him shortly after when he was stood in the wall, and his face just said it all for me. It just said it all. There stood a man that if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. You know what I mean? Yes, he should have buried it. Yes, he should have made contact. Yes, he trains for it. Yes, that's his job and all that. And I do understand that, and I do get that 100%. But there's a psychological side of the game. Some people are stronger psychologically than others to be able to deal with bad form, to be able to deal mentally without, you know, being out of touch essentially, and also not getting a game, not getting the game time. And I suspect, looking at Freddie's face, he's not one of those types of people. He wants the game time. He needs the game time. He needs to be able to essentially, as a cricketer, get his eye in, if you like. You know what I mean? Because, you know, get used to the pace of the game, get used to the pace of how the games are in this division. And he's not had that opportunity because he's just not cut it when he has come on. And obviously his work rate, we've questioned before. I've questioned it on many occasions. I think the last couple of times he's come on, his work rate's been all right. It's been no problem. And I am absolutely, that's one thing I am 100% certain of, is that in January he would have been shipped out if his work rate in training isn't good enough. No question in my mind. So for me, he's a player out of touch. You talk about the social media stuff. It's just I can't think of the right word. It's embarrassing. There are times when I scroll through social media and I am embarrassed to put my Rotherham United shirt on and be associated with some of these absolute imbeciles that we have allegedly following our club. I'm not going to use the word supporting because they don't. Some of these people, I'm just, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Not that I can say without, you know, having to put parental guidance sticker on.
Can I just touch on that lightly? I'm not going to be negative, but you said some people aren't strong mentally with bad form. You look at people who are true champions of their sport, like Michael Jordan and Tom Brady and Ronaldo probably, and they've got a good mental. It's not natural. Humans are not meant to deal with huge success or huge failure or whatever. You know, that's why you see like social media followers crumble and a lot of them sadly, you know, suicide, because it's just the human brain is not meant to cope with that, and that's trained into someone. You know, so when I say hard work, it needs to be the mental side as well, and it can be trained into people because it's very rarely natural unless it's freaked like Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? It's very rarely naturally there. So I think it's something you can work on. It's just once you get the mental side of it, your potential is limited.
You can conquer the world once you've got the mental side of it sorted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing is for Freddie, this is new. I think certainly in his professional career. I don't know if his non-league days. This is probably the first time he's not been a starter. All the time for Plymouth, he got 18, 19 goals in that season. He'd have started 95% of the games.
Yeah.
Similar, I think, before Southend, he scored a reasonable amount of goals. He would have played a lot of the time. This is new territory for him. And I know he's 27, 28, but in terms of actual professional football experience, he is quite light on that.
Yeah.
So you've got to bear that in mind.
I forgot what I'm going to say now. This is maybe it's like, I'm a starter, and then I realised, I can actually be dropped. You know what I mean? That's the sign of someone to me who is naturally ridiculous at football and just goes everywhere and starts and puts work in training. But now we realise that when he gets to a high level or high-ish level, championship's a hard level to get to, like for anybody. It's a high-ish level. Once you get to that high-ish level, everyone's got an amount of talent. Everybody has got a certain amount of talent. It's the hard work that gets off the training field, like when no one's watching type thing that separates people. And I think that's probably what he hasn't had to have because of his natural ability, because he's clearly got a natural eye for goal, where actually he gets lucky or whatever. He clearly doesn't, because he's been doing it for 8-9 years now. So I just think he needs to learn that side of it. It doesn't come overnight. It just comes with studying the right people and being around the right people.
Yeah, I agree. And what I would say to anybody that's sort of attacking him on social media, and attacking is the right word, he didn't miss it on purpose, He didn't try and score the goal.
That's another thing. He didn't come out. Yeah, that's another thing as well with sport. Like, people know it. Like, this is hard for another mental side of it. People, like, you should think people know you're trying. Like, he didn't go in the huddle, not huddle, but like on the sideline. We've got a corner, like, whatever, we're across or whatever, half time, whatever. He goes, right. Basically, you're gonna cross it and you're gonna head it down, and then I'm gonna miss it completely and fluff it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's go. I didn't do that. People know you're trying. The right people know you're trying. It's when you see people on Twitter, because the right people don't go on Twitter and don't post on Twitter.
They're not as vocal about things.
Yeah, we've got better things to do. You know what I mean? It's people that got no lives, but it is, isn't it? It's people that on Twitter all the time, but they've got nothing in their life that's going for them. That's why they're on Twitter.
To be fair, mate, nobody's got to win the life at the minute, or most people.
I know, but you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying.
But it's people that I got better to do apart from slate people on Twitter because they've got not going in their own lives. You know what I mean? It makes them feel better for a few minutes, but then they go back to their sad person life. You know what I mean? So it just needs to accept that fact. It's hard when all you see is negative because the love is silent always. It's just, you got to recognise it is there.
Go on, mate.
I was just going to say, I've taken a bit by Ben's philosophy there. Philosophical.
Love is silent.
Beautiful.
Poetic.
Love it. Absolutely poetic. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, the social media side of stuff, and let's not get too bogged down in it because some of these people don't deserve the time of day, do they? But, it's there's the culture around of, instant gratification and everything else, and how dare my team lose? How dare my team not win for me? You know what I mean? And it's just grow up, man.
Can I just say something literally last minute on it? If you got a haircut, right, Matt, and you after obviously not these times in the year, whatever, you get a haircut. You get a haircut, right?
I don't say you didn't ask Mick.
Yeah. Anyway, you get a haircut, right? And you go to Meadowhall, for example, right? And it's a bit of a weird thing, but 10 people say, "Oh, I like your haircut, Matt." Being serious, you're gonna think, "Damn, that's a good haircut. That's a nice haircut." You post on Instagram and get 10 likes, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's a nice haircut." If you get 500 likes, imagine the thirst that you're going to get for them likes. It's not even going to care about the haircut anymore. He's going to care about the likes. And this is the problem with social media nowadays. People don't care about what they put out and stuff like that. They just care about instant gratification, instant fame. You know what I mean? It's a really bad place to be at times.
Go on.
Can I just add into that? If you are watching this later on YouTube, if you could just subscribe down there, click the subscribe button. We really need some more subscribers.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are going to finish because I think it's a long-winded point. But what people have got to bear in mind is that just sort of be nice. It's okay to say somebody's had a crap game. That's absolutely fine.
100%.
It's what you do as a fan. You're entitled as a fan to an opinion. But there's no need to be hateful or hurtful about it. There's a way and a means to go about it. And to be fair to each other. You've seen fans literally arguing with each other and throwing personal abuse at each other on Twitter because of some people's opinion about a football game. Come on. You know what I mean? It's just, please stop. Please grow up. Yeah, but on the football game, it was a poor performance for the Mills. I think all three of us are in agreement with that. It was below par, but the positive, we nearly got some out of the game. So there's positives and negatives from it. One final positive, and it is an absolute positive, is the Viking, Victor Johansson. Ben's got the Matt Sunday fan club. We haven't talked about Matt Sunday. We could, but I'm not going to this week. I'm going to start the Victor Johansson fan club. I absolutely love him. I love everything about him. I love his beard. I love the fact he just doesn't care. I love the saves he makes. He's just brilliant. He's just so easy. Peel's got one of them personalities. It's just so easy to like him. And it's just fantastic to have that anyway.
If you were a dog, his tail would be wagging all the time, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? He's just, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, that save he pulled off against from one of the offsides that were given was just it was a stunner, absolutely stunning piece of goalkeeping. I mean, I think we've got a real prize there, a real prize. We've got a real prizes all over the pitch.
Yeah,
let's not Let's not be under any illusions here. But yeah, I mean, it was great. It's great to watch, isn't it? I love one of the things I want to see in a goalkeeper is one that never shuts up. I want him gobbing off at everybody and that back line 90 minutes. For the full 90 minutes, whether they're doing well or otherwise, I want my goalkeeper screaming and shouting at them. You know, it should be coming off the pitch. Every goalkeeper should come off pitch with no voice left. Because they can see everything, and that's what he does. I love him to bits. I must admit, I'm very much in agreement with you. Yeah,
good. Final point on the game is I will give some credit to Sky Sports. They weren't too condescending. There was obviously moments. I managed to fill a bingo card before the game started, I think.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the guys in the studio were quite complimentary to us. Viv Anderson didn't really have a clue who Rotherham were, I don't think. I think Simon Francis, the other guy, was actually very complimentary about it, very positive.
Simon Francis is he the ex-Bournemouth player? Ex-Bournemouth player. Yeah. I thought it was.
One thing I would pick up on actually from the pre-match was I didn't realise we got a new player, Matt Harding, as well. I thought he had an average game, Matt. Harding played all right, but Matt, you know, I mean, we're for God's sake, man.
Yeah. But it wasn't. It was much better than it was in previous games. I mean, the bar was low. Let's be fair.
But yeah. It's going to be interesting next Tuesday on Sky, isn't it? I mean, I'm assuming they've got two of the worst teams in Championship allegedly playing each other on Sky. So they're probably just not bother putting any commentary on.
Why not? Well, we should be doing a watch along for that one. There were some issues we couldn't do this week. Thanks for all the kind messages saying you wish you had done it. We do appreciate that. The plan is to do one. I'll try and make up some bingo cards for us all to tick off as and when they come through, because I enjoyed that. And if you two got any final points you want to make on the Forest game?
No.
Cool. On to Reading. I think we'll be making some changes in the game, but we'll go through those in a minute. We don't have a very good record against Reading. There's no wins in our last 7 meetings. The last win was a 2-1 win in April 2015, which was the game that secured survival in the Steve Evans only full season in the Championship. But Reading themselves are in terrible form. They've won 1 game out of the last 7, and they even lost to Wycombe in midweek, which is not very good. Wycombe are proving, unfortunately for Wycombe, that they're one of the worst teams in the division. Ben, it's an opportunity, this, I think.
Yeah, I think, obviously, I would be another. I've been thinking about this as well. I've been thinking, when we say, we think we can win this game and stuff like this, I hope to God that's not in the players' dressing room. Because if I'm one of them players, right, if you're looking at the league table, I think you're doing it wrong. This is my opinion. This is probably wrong for a lot of people. But if you're looking at that league table and you see their form drop or whatever it is, what are you doing? You should just be watching their games and doing whatever you do, practicing, getting ready for the game. I don't think it don't matter what team it is. It doesn't matter if it's Hallam FC or Man City. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be caring about what team they are, because the moment that you think, oh, you know what I mean, this is light work, and it's a very, very familiar people, say, oh, play like you're 2-0 down or whatever. It's Sunday league type things, right? But a lot of people still do it because they think, oh, you know what I mean, I could take a little bit of a rest now, especially now with, like I said, you need to hold yourself to high standard. It is still hard, and it's a human body, you know what I mean? It's not a machine. It does need a rest. So it's like, you can't go into this game thinking, oh, I can go a little bit lighter this game, or, because they've been losing. It's like, no, you should go double harder because they've been losing recently, do you know what I mean? And make them so demoralised they don't want to play football anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. They were quite bad last time.
They weren't great, were they?
We got helped a little bit, but we could have done better. Well, that time at season where we weren't playing the best. We
couldn't find back at net, could we? At all?
Yeah, Cooks were off it. Smith were just not as good as he is now. I think Gio just went out. Was he out at that time?
Yeah, he was out at that point, yeah.
I think, sadly, I'm not too sure, but it wasn't the best of times. But I'm looking forward to this game. Ish.
And not only all that you've mentioned there, obviously Mr. Donohue from Tuesday night was in action for the opposition again against Reading when we played them. And I still seem to recall a couple of discussions about offsides in that game as well. But hey, who knows?
Yeah, that's true. One fact I've got to mention this. I know we've got the goal that shouldn't have stood. The other linesman in the first half had a very, very good game against Forest. Every single one of them offsides, he got absolutely bang on, and he could have gotten wrong like the other guy, and he didn't. And he got it. Praise where praise is due to officials, and I think it's important we do give that praise. To flip back onto that one.
Let me as the man who's most vocal about him. 100%. I agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah, good.
I just got to throw that out there.
Yeah, we have defensive issues, and I don't know how long we're going to spend on this. We probably could spend an hour. We have our two main central defenders now out for at least a game for Woody, definitely 2 for Hickey. 2-game ban for Hickey for getting 10 bookings. I think he's now got the most bookings in the Championship now, Hickey. So we're top of the league for summer. It's a problem now, Mick. What do you do? Do you go 4-4-2 and do you have a McDonald and Robertson in there? Do you set a Hardy, come in, do a job, and then you start with Sunday and Harden still the wing backs? Where do you change it?
I go 4-4-2. I put Matt Sunday at right back. I put Harding and Robertson in the middle, and I put Giles at left back.
You're not playing your natural centre back of McDonald?
No, I'm not. Because just he's completely out of touch in terms of his confidence and in terms of his form. He got away with Tuesday night. I don't think he made any mistakes, but that issue at Norwich, I think, has affected him psychologically because all he did on Tuesday night was put his foot through every single ball. He just wanted to get rid. It looks like a man with no confidence for me. And you've got Lucas Zhao playing up front for Reading. So, for me, possibly I'd be looking at going 4-4-2 with Olasunde and Giles as your fullbacks. I know that's a bit. You've got 2 very attacking fullbacks there, but I don't know. I'm not feeling it for McDonald, and I want to shore up that midfield. I bring Sean McDonald into midfield to sit deep and to help that defence out.
If you put in Sean McDonald, how you change from midfield? Because if you bring in Sean McDonald, then you have to drop 2 of Wiles, Barlaser, and Wing, and Crooks.
I'd be dropping Crooks
for Freddie.
Crooks for Freddie. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Let me say this right now. If I were doing that team sheet, Freddie's name will be the first one on it for me on Saturday, because of what happened on Tuesday. So yeah, I'd be bringing Freddie up top, possibly with Smithy, and then we'd have to look at that midfield. I'd be having Sadlier in there, as well. Possibly Sadlier on the right, Wiles on the left, and then any combination of McDonald, Barlaser, and Wing in the centre there.
Do you think Wiles needs a rest?
Possibly, but he's looked the most dangerous player that we've got, even needing a rest.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, we popped back to social media very quickly. There were quite a lot to be fair, from the same people on social media that have been hounding Freddie were hounding Ben Wiles before the game on Tuesday night and on Saturday. The same people. Bizarre. But anyway, I think he probably does need a rest, but we do need somebody like that in there for me. He's looking dangerous, but yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he's swapping out for McDonald. I put Barlaser and Wing in the centre there.
What do you think, Ben?
I think I don't want to go, mentality on everybody. Like, I feel like I have been, but this is where players step up. This is where people like Giles, Wiles make their mark. And like I got banged on about James Milner and that. You'd got centre back if we had an injury crisis. You know what I mean? Woody's out, Icky's out, Chio's out, Sadly is basically out, and we're in the most.
Sadly's fine.
Yeah, but he's coming back from an injury. He might want to tweak it, whatever, right? Yeah, whatever, right? This is the most congested season since World War has come back. I'd want around there. Nicky might be
even then.
I can confirm that, Ben, that there's never been a congested season in my memory, so that's pre-First World War, obviously.
I think this is where you players step up. This is where captains are made. This is where your people like Wiles should step up and take control. And if one of youth team has to come in, needs to step up, because McDonald needs to step up and get a grip, needs to realise the situation, take his ego back, say, right, I'm not playing well. What am I doing wrong? What can I do to improve that? How can I make changes so I can do this? Every single player needs to be working together. And because it's a team sport, right? If you don't want to play a team sport, go play golf or tennis, right? LeBron James said this other day. If you don't want to play a team sport, go play golf, go play tennis, badminton, whatever, right? There's a reason that proper athletes, bar maybe Serena Williams, don't play individual sports. Don't play team. Oh, what am I going to say now? Oh, I can't remember. I've lost what I was going to say. But yeah, McDonald people like that need to be stepping in. This is where your true players, true leaders, true athletes, true team footballers step up and deliver for the team. Because one's not capable of managing it all by himself. This is why players get paid the money they do. They need to step up and help him out and do whatever they can. McDonald needs to, like I said, sit back, say, what am I doing wrong? Harding, say, can I play this position? Be real with yourself, don't say, yeah, I'll play all Sunday. Giles, they need to be working together, say, what can we do? Can I play there? Can I play there? Be realistic. Am I good enough to play there? Will I do a job there and stuff like that? I think. But what I think it'll be, it's probably what Mick said. I think it's the only thing it can be. Unless McDonald, like I said, takes a step back and says, what am I going to do wrong? Takes the ego out of it and stuff like that and improves and gets a grip because he needs to. I think it will be quite attacking because it's the only back four we've got that are willing to play or able to play well enough.
I would play Angus MacDonald, and the reason I would is because it gives you an option not to play Giles at left back, because then you can play Giles at left wing. If you have a 4-4-2, we all of a sudden you're right back, put Hard at left back, which is not ideal, but it's defensively fine. And then you have Angus MacDonald and Clark Robertson, which is a solid and balanced centre back partner. If you don't play Robertson, and then it comes obviously balances off, then you can play Giles as left hand side. If Sadler is good enough for an hour, at least an hour, you can play Sadler at right hand side. For me, bearing in mind who's out, Sean McDonald's got to play. We need his experience. We need that stability in the team. You ain't got Icky dragging everybody about. You ain't got Woody. Robertson can do that, but I don't think Robertson's as much of a leader as those two.
Well, that's what I was saying about you need your players to step up. McDonald is a prime example. He's been around for enough now. He should realise he needs to take control because Woody's out. Johansson's will try, but he's probably not old enough to. Yeah, he's probably not old enough to realise to know how to do it properly. I haven't been around Woody long enough, around these players long enough. Yeah. But he will learn that. I'm confident in the voice he's got at the minute. He will learn that, and I think he'll be a person that we can rely on. You know, like Schmeichel is at Leicester and whatever. You know what I mean? That reliable, solid leader, goalkeeper that probably will be captain for us. I think if he stays at this club, he'll be captain.
On that, sorry, go on, mate.
What I'm going to say, I don't know whether I'm going to steal your thunder here. I saw Schmeichel when he was a similar age playing for Notts County, and Johansson's a better goalkeeper.
Probably is, yeah.
So he certainly has the potential to be a full international. He's got that potential. There's no doubt about it. Leicester know their goalkeepers, as we well know. And you know we've picked him up from Leicester. He certainly has got that potential, and he is a leader.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, absolutely. Barley's 50th league game for Rotherham, assuming he plays on Saturday. On captains, we don't have one at the moment. Woody and Icky are out. Ben, who takes the armband?
We've once it enough.
That doesn't answer my question, though, does it?
I can't answer that unless I've been in the training ground. Whoever wants it, whoever
in
says.
your opinion, why are you making this difficult?
Because
mate?
that's
Give me
I
a
don't
name.
know who it is. Because if I say give it all Sunday and then he's been shying away, not showing up to practice because he's avoiding confrontation from manager and that, I think whoever says Gaffer, give me an armband. If anyone said that,
based on what you've seen with your eyes,
it's hard to say, man. This is problem with sport. McDonald.
Which one? Sean.
Sean. But yeah, Sean McDonald.
I think if Sean McDonald comes in, he gets the armband. If Sean McDonald doesn't come in,
Robertson.
I'm probably going to get Ben Wiles.
The thing is, right? What can I just say? What made you pick Ben Wiles?
Because it's going to boost his confidence even more. It's going to push him and show him and just give him that another mental boost to prove that he is very, very valuable to our team, despite what some of the plebs who complain about him say.
What if he crumbles?
But what I would say.
Well, if he crumbles, I mean, what's he going to do? Tell him that he wants to kick other way instead of that way.
No, if he crumbles, he's a young lad. You've seen what happens. You've seen what happens.
It's only a one-off.
Yeah,
I know, but like I said, you can go to whoever wants it. Whoever says, "Give me up."
He's got the freckling to know about him in terms of if he's not a captain, he still leads by example.
Yeah.
So that's why it sort of makes sense. Realistically, a football captain is just on the pitch is effectively a ceremonial position. It's your work off the field, but if your captain is willing to, he can lead by example, and people could follow. Plus, he's a Rotherham boy. That helps. When the last time we had a Rotherham-born Rotherham captain, it's been a long time, I imagine. Yeah. Although actually Ryan Creswell, can't mention it.
Yeah, but there you go.
Not that long, but still long enough.
Both St Joseph's lads as well.
That's true. Yeah. Very quickly, because we've gone on forever on this one, so apologies if anybody's bored of us. If you're still bored of us and still listening, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Your commitment to the cause is very much appreciated. Our predictions, I'm going to start because I've already done something. I did a thing for Sky Sports with my prediction, so I'm going to go 1-0. I think. Did I go 1-0? I went 1-0. Ben, Tours. Sorry,
2-1 Tours. I will say 2-1
Mick.
So yeah, I mean, Ben, are we going to gloss over the fact that Matt's giving predictions to Sky Sports, or are we? Shall we not make comment on that?
Sky Sports?
And he did.
I didn't hear what he said. Sorry, I didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear said wow.
I thought you knew. Sorry, anybody's it was a literally 35-word preview that they asked for.
Leave it.
I'll be honest with you, mate. If Sky Sports over the big bucks, I'm on my way.
So it's down to me and you to host this podcast from now on, then, Ben. If Matt's going over to Sky Sports,
I don't think that'll last very long. We disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna. I said 1-1 when I went on Reading's podcast. Yeah. I don't know. 1-1.
Cool.
We're going to hold the slide. Yeah. They are not confident. I'll tell you that right now. They are far from confident. In fact, they are as unconfident. Is that a word? They are as lacking in confidence as any podcast supporters I've spoken to all season, and I've spoken to Derby twice.
That's true. It is. Yeah, fair point.
So.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, but 1 win in 7 and losing to Wycombe in midweek is if anything's going to take your confidence, that'll do it. Bearing in mind the way they started the season as well. But yeah. So a couple of bits to run through before we properly finish. We teamed up with FanHub a few weeks ago. The FanHub app. We're part of their FanHub 100, which is the 100 sort of football podcast that they want within their brand. We've teamed up with them, but they've now basically released the app. If you search FanHub on iOS or Google Play, you can download the app and sign up for them, and then you get a code. The sort of open it phase by phase, but we can all join together and sort of not bet against each other, but sort of compete against each other for lineup predictions. You check in when the game goes ahead. When you can start going to games, it has sort of a mile checker, so you can sort of compete with each other who's travelled furthest to support your team. And the idea is that eventually you'll basically get rewarded just for supporting your team and knowing about your team. So if you haven't already signed up for that, sign up to that. And it's just a bit of fun and good laugh, and hopefully reward you all for just supporting Rotherham United for that. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, if you please. We would really appreciate that, and subscribe anywhere, iTunes, Spotify. If you don't want to watch us, just want audio only, subscribe there, because then you obviously make sure you get straight away.
If you're on Instagram as well, follow the Instagram, because obviously we didn't do the watch along certain circumstances. If you didn't know that, I did put it on Instagram. I do put like things like that on Instagram and stuff like that. And when we're doing next watch alongs, and I might start putting some polls out, but just follow that Instagram, because we will be active on there. More active than Twitter, maybe. Probably not, but yeah.
Probably not.
More interactive, like more poll type things.
Okay. Got you. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you then for listening. Once you get involved, we always appreciate your feedback every time we tweet some out, or if we don't tweet some out, just get in contact with us about whatever you wanted, what you talk and know about. I was going to say something, but I forgot, so I guess we'll just end it there. Ben, it's been a pleasure arguing with you tonight. Oh, Mick's got something.
No, I was just back on Saturday.
Yes, back on Saturday for the post-match after Reading, 5:15, I think. We're going to do it, in theory, unless there's any delays, which there could be. Yeah, cool. Ben?
Yeah.
It's been interesting.
You're welcome. Sorry to go all mentality, philosophy.
To be honest, mate, you ranted less this time than you have in the past, so you're getting the hang of it. Philosophical. That's the way. Trying to be not philosophical, and yeah. And Mick, thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Whenever, anytime. You're welcome.
Thank you all. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you all hopefully Saturday evening, and we're back Monday for the review and a look ahead to the big South Yorkshire derby next week. Cheers, guys.
Ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do